Hello friends, this is Amy with Amy Cats Colors, and in today's video I'm going to do my version of the Alice in Wonderland 2025 tag, coloring tag. There is a group of lovely colorists on YouTube and on Instagram hosting November Mad Tea Party 2025, which is a nod to all things Alice in Wonderland. This tag video being one of the many things that's going on. But in addition to Told You Would Colors, we have Jamie at Finding Joy in Color, Julianne at Julianne Annette Art, and Rachel at Crafting Mama Bear 87. So just want to make sure I give credit to those lovely coordinators of all things Mad Tea Party before we get started. But I'm a little late. I'm late. That was not on purpose that I said that. I'm a little late. I'm behind on watching videos, watching completed pages from October. It's life, but I noticed this past week, that there is this Alice in Wonderland 2025 tag, and it's quite cute. It's a lot of fun for those of us who are fans of the Alice in Wonderland theme, genre, books, series, movies. And so I thought I'd participate. There are 11 questions. I will put the details in the description of the video. And I think before I get started, I was just going to show my Alice books that I have, specific books, and then I have a bunch of Disney books. And then I'm going to transition over to showing you a page that I've been working on for one of the challenges for the month, which is a color palette. There's a couple different, or there's 4, one for each hostess color palettes that you can find on their YouTube videos and also on Instagram. And so I'm doing one of those. And I'll go through the questions. All right. So these are the 2 specific books that I've had in my collection for a while that are specific to Alice in Wonderland. This was the first one that I purchased, and this was a while back. I do know that these books from this series from Sterling, I think are hard to get. Like, I think it might be one of those situations where you have to purchase them on eBay or something like that, or from someone reselling it. But this was illustrated by Fabiana Attanasio. As many of you know, Fabiana is one of the illustrators in the Mythographic series and Mythagoria. And so there were some books that were based on literature, classic literature. This was one of them. There's, I think, Wizard of Oz, Peter Pan. So anyway, this one has been out for a while. It's from Sterling Children's Books, and it has a removable poster in the back. I think I took it out because it was making it a little bulky, but this version at least was published in 2016. I don't know that I have completed pages in here, but I have some whips. Most notably this one, this double page spread from the Mad Tea Party. I mean, it's pretty close to being finished. So it's been a whip for a really long time. I used acrylic paints in the back, and I used a lot of Prismacolor pencils, is what this would have been, I believe. So this one goes way back, and then my daughter started that one a long time ago. Looks like I started a tree. She worked on that. That might be it. This book is really nice. I love her illustrations. It's very quirky, very different, and very fun. And I regret that I've not come back to this since then. But there's that one. And then I also have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, a coloring book featuring classic illustrations from Sir John Tenniel. And I don't think I've colored in this one. This is a very nice book. It's double-sided pages with a lot of the text from the book. Silver Dolphin Books. Just trying to see if there was like a when did this come out thing, but I don't know that that's in here. But this was a gift, and some of it is kind of like this wallpapery style. There are a few pages in here I could definitely see myself. The paper is actually pretty thick. I would use water mediums. I would probably use some watercolor in here. I like this one. But yeah, this is the other one that I have. And then of course a bunch of Disney stuff that also has Alice in it. So today, for me answering the questions so that I can put myself to work while talking through these, I have a buddy color that I'm currently working on for the month of November. That is an Alice-inspired page from R.J. Hampson, Serendipity, the Serendipity coloring book. I think you probably all know what page I'm talking about. I have seen this one completed a lot this month, and it was a little intimidating because there's been some gorgeous, stunning pages, versions of this page completed that I've already seen on Instagram. So that being said, I went ahead, let me just kind of tell you what I've done so far with this process. I have based everything in alcohol marker using one of the 4 color palettes featured for this month, and it is called the I'm late color palette. So I've already done the basing. I'm using primarily Ohuhu alcohol markers, the Honolulu series. I have the 48 set of the pastel. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm sitting right in front of the window today. Sun is in my eyes, and even when I come look up at my phone that's recording, I can't see anything. So we're just going to try for the best today and see what happens. And then there's a few others. So you see there's this cheaper illustration marker that came from this 21 illustration marker set from Five Below. I'm going to go ahead and well, I'm going to leave these out in case there's something I want to touch up later, because what I'm going to be doing now is going in and shading with some colored pencil. I also have this one that is Artist Concepts dual-ended alcohol marker, and that was from another set that I got from Five Below. This one here, Pastel Colors 18 count. Of course, the Ohuhus are my favorite, and they outperform pretty much any alcohol marker that's out there, in my opinion. But I have some other sets to supplement some of the colors, and just because I do a lot of color by number too in some cheaper books, and some of the cute comfy pages, I don't mind burning up a cheap set of marker to color in those all the time. So anyway, all right, so that's what I've done so far. I've based with alcohol markers. So now that I've based everything using the color palette, I'm gonna go in with some colored pencils and do some shading, and at the end is when I'll go and do glossy accents or glaze if I'm gonna do it in the gel pen. So how are you all doing today? I'm gonna go now into the questions, starting with question number 1. It is, would you follow the rabbit down the rabbit hole like Alice did? And my answer is absolutely. So for me, let me start by saying that not only am I a fan of Alice in Wonderland movies, but I read the book and am a fan of Lewis Carroll. The rabbit hole is a metaphor that is most commonly used to reference diving deep down into something, right? Or, you know, just kind of making that leap into something, into imagination, into adventure, following something down. A rabbit hole could be, you know, the unknown. It could represent, you know, new territory. It could be a transition. It could be a this long, windy path of surprises. And so I like that. Yes, I'm all in for that. You know, Wonderland, the movie and the books, and the book in particular, I think sometimes with the movie it gets lost, some of the theming and some of the multifaceted aspects of the storytelling. But it's this idea that finding one's identity, right? For Alice, it's like she's transitioning from being a child to adolescence, or an adult, and it's so confusing, and there's lots of policy and procedure and things that just don't make a whole lot of sense to a child. But then it's also you know, finding yourself in that, and like who are you, you know, and helping her find her way, right? She's trying to find her way. Sorry, so I'm getting a little deep into this, but let me get to coloring, or we'll never finish. But yes, I would go down the rabbit hole. I think that sounds like a good idea. So I'm going to start with some of the green elements here, and I've chosen, this is, I'm going to use Prismacolors. This is Kelly Green. Question number 2 is, what would your number 1 rule be if you were the Queen of Wonderland? Mandatory nap time after tea, after your afternoon tea. I think that would be my rule. Everyone is going to participate in tea time. I love tea. I've been to an Alice in Wonderland themed tea before too. It's been a while, but yeah, that was fun. People dressed up, and they had themed foods and the decorations. It was really cool. I'm a big fan of tea time. I don't think I'm going to get an opportunity to do it this month, but I had a couple pictures, coloring pages from coloring books that like the afternoon tea that I could color, like with the Alice theme, or teacups, teapot. I mean, there's this in here, but again, not enough time to color all the things that one would love to color. But yeah, having a nap time in the afternoon, mid-afternoon, like a siesta, right? We were kind of talking about this the other day, some coworkers, about how some countries and some cultures, it's pretty accepted to have that, right? When you eat, you know, you kind of get a little lethargic, a little tired, and then just taking that mid-afternoon rest to kind of rewire and then reset and then get back to it. Of course, in those countries, they also eat like a pretty late dinner. It's just all in what you're used to. Okay, number 3. What other holidays do you think Wonderland celebrates besides Unbirthdays and Frabjous Day? I forgot about that one until it was mentioned in this tag video, but oh man. So that Unbirthday, like, this is a made up thing, right? It's silly, it's made up. So absolutely, if Lewis Carroll did ever like wrote any, you know, additional short stories or poems or more expanded the Wonderland, universe, I think that he probably would have made up some more holidays there, right? There'd probably be something about cats and afternoon tea, some kind of holiday centered around that, something just ridiculous or silly, because that's a lot of what this is, right? It's just silliness. I would like to think in Wonderland it would be so fun too if they did celebrate like all the holidays as we know them, the Halloween, the Christmas. So yeah, I think they definitely. I thought of one when I first watched this or the tag. I thought of a silly thing that like along the same vein as like the Unbirthday that they would probably come up with, like basically take something and flip it, do the opposite of that, just something silly. All right. Number 4 is, who would you want to spend your time with most in Wonderland? There are so many characters in this in Wonderland. There's a lot of options. It's one of the cool things about the story. I had this thought that it would probably be the White Rabbit for me, even though I'm a cat lover, and you'd probably think I'd say Cheshire Cat, and I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna bring up the Cheshire Cat again in one of the other questions, but for the White Rabbit seems awfully concerned about being late. Like it's giving him anxiety, and I feel like I could relate to him. Now that's very similar to the best friend type of thing. So I guess my two characters could be interchangeable between spending most time with versus who would be your best friend, but for the White Rabbit, like I could see wanting to spend time with him because he seems very structure, like he's comfortable with structure, like in being on time and obligations, and he's probably put together, and he's just a cute fluffy white rabbit. He's so cute. But yeah, I could see wanting to spend. He's a very interesting character, I have the White Rabbit comes up a lot. I feel like is very symbolic. Follow me down the rabbit hole, It's very curious. Anyway, we could share in our anxiety of being on time to things. We could help each other make sure that we are on time. Okay. Number 5. Do you love to sing? Yes. Would you join a choir of singing flowers in Wonderland and try to get a solo part? That's very specific. I do love to sing. I love in the animated Disney movie the part with the singing flowers. I love that so much. And I would want to spend time with them too, actually, I think. I sang in my childhood. I sang in elementary, middle, and high school. I did a lot of the all county district choirs. I did a small ensemble choir. I did show choir. I did a concert choir. So yes, I love to sing. I was a soprano and specifically a soprano too. And I did have solos and I could sing solos. I would love to do that. I don't sing really much anymore except for to the radio. I would definitely need to warm up my voice if I were going to do something like that. It's not something I don't practice singing anymore. So I would need a vocal coach, but I would love to do it. Singing is very stress relieving too, because you are just much like you are, deep breathing when you exercise. When you sing, you're also, breathing, taking many breaths. And exercising your voice, so your lungs and your breaths, and it's really good for stress as well. But I love to sing. I love to sing Christmas music. That was one of my favorite things to sing. But singing with those flowers, the flowers are so cool, and there's so many different ones. I'm going to switch to another green because I feel like this is dark and I want to do a little bit lighter. So we'll go with this apple green. I should have prefaced this whole thing with, I'm not going to get very far on this coloring. I'm really not capable of coloring and talking and filming at the same time. I know that I can figure this out, but I have not taken the minute to figure out just filming and then doing a voiceover with the apps and stuff that I use to edit, because I don't particularly enjoy editing. I don't spend a whole lot of time doing it. I don't feel like it's necessary for this hobby, for just getting to know people and sharing, and you know what I mean, for the community. So, some people do. That's great. That's lovely. It's just, that's not my cup of tea. I would much rather just sit here and color, but I also really do want to, legitimately wanted to participate in this tag. So anyway, so I will not make it very far on this, but I will be finishing this page later today because we're already halfway through the questions. So anyway, this one is apple green. It says, number 6, would you want to find your way out of Wonderland or would you want to stay? I could get lost up in there. I could stay. But I would also want to travel back and forth. I mean, that would be cool. If you also, so the other real large interpretation of Alice in Wonderland is that of a dream, right? Alice was literally falling asleep under the tree during her lessons and thinking about all the things that she was thinking about, in real life, right? About, and there's some Victorian stuff in there too, satire that's in there too, which I really appreciate, which is very interesting. But she's falling asleep. She's in the dream state of Wonderland and then wakes up. So I want to talk about dreams. So hold that thought for a moment. I want to talk about dreams. So I have very vivid dreams, and I always have, sometimes more than others. And a lot of times my dreams are so vivid and so based on reality and things that could actually happen that I mistake this. I'm getting really vulnerable now. But I don't mind. I would share this with you in real life. Sometimes I mistake things that I thought had happened really only happened in my dream, because it's not crazy. Now, I do have those kinds of dreams too that are just nuts, a meld of just a ton of different things happening. I have those too, but when I have my dreams that are just largely based on reality of things that I've seen or heard or doing or something, it's really hard. I know I'm not the only one who struggles with that. But for example, I work full time in manufacturing. I'm a logistics manager currently, and I've done a lot in quality assurance as well. But I will have dreams that I had done something at work, right? Because I'm thinking about it. It might be, an important task or a project or something like that. So I might be dreaming about that. And I might have thought like, maybe it's something coming up, right? Like some important thing coming up. And I'll like dream about it. And later on I'll be like, so did I actually do that? Did I finish that? Did I send that email? Did we have this meeting? Or did I just like dream that? But anyway, so yes, I can get lost in my dreams. And some of my dreams are fantasy, right? Like, oh, I wish this happened, you know. Or some of my dreams are nightmares, right? Like it's something that you're worried about or that you fear, and then you dream about it. Like I have those dreams too. But anyway, I know that this is kind of like a tangent, but it's all to say like, you know, Wonderland, if Wonderland is going off into this dream state of different, a mixture, a meld of all these different things that are going on in your head, then yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting lost in there for a while, coming back to reality. I always think of The Matrix, and because they directly reference it, Alice in Wonderland. If you remember the first Matrix movie, at the beginning where he's following the one, I think it's a woman, has the white rabbit tattoo. Like follow the white rabbit. But the Matrix is also like this alternate. It's a reality, right? Alternate reality. Oh, that's the other thing I really like about that whole Alice in Wonderland like story is this idea of perception versus reality, and kind of exploring that theme and idea. I love that so much. Sorry to ruin it for you if it's just fun and silly, but to me, especially the book, if you've ever read the book, and if you haven't, I recommend it. There are just so many, like I said, it's multifaceted. There's so many themes that are explored in the storytelling and in the book. It's just really interesting. And that's one of the reasons why I've always loved it. I remember dissecting it like this when I was in high school. So we had read the Jabberwocky, and I was kind of like giving it was AP English, which is advanced placement. And so here in the US, it's like advanced English. And you can get, if you take the exam and pass it, you can get like college credit for it. But I remember in that class, I remember reading it and discussing. I love doing that. Reading and discussing literature. I loved English. I'm an engineer. I really loved everything, but I loved history. I loved English. I have an appreciation for all kinds of things. Anyway, now that really is a tangent, but yeah, I would like to go to Wonderland, but come back. And which also reminds me of, and it's been a really long time, so take all of my comments really with a grain of salt, because it's been a long time since I've seen like any of the stuff or read the book. It's been like since high school, since I read the book. But Once Upon a Time, the series, the like Disney ABC, was on ABC, and I think you can now watch it on Disney Plus. Once Upon a Time had all of the storybook characters throughout its seasons, but Alice was one of them. Alice made an appearance in the Mad Hatter. But they went back and forth between this, like different realities and different lands and different, from the stories to Storybrooke. And anyway, I think about that too. So while we're talking about the different Alices, Meg from Disney, former Disney Meg, now Meg's Coloring Corner. Her video is actually the first one that I saw, because I've watched her so much. The algorithm always tells me when Meg posts something. But hers was the first Alice in Wonderland tag video that I saw, and before I realized that the group of ladies hosting the Tea Party, or the Mad Tea Party, had done it, but she mentioned the 1980s movie, TV movie, 1985 actually, Alice in Wonderland, made for TV. I loved that so much. I was a child, and actually I don't think I would have been 2 in 1985, so I'm definitely not remembering that, but I think it came back on. If this is the same version that she was talking about, I don't know. If there could have been more, but this one always comes up, and I looked it up. We taped it like on VHS when it came on TV one time, and it is a musical. They sing and dance. There's a lot of actors, well-known actors at the time, who were in this. Actually, John Stamos was like in it, made an appearance. But anyway, that's one of my favorite versions. I know that people in this tag video have been talking about this a little bit, even though I don't think any of these questions ask that. But I love that. I love the Disney animated. That's also like the one that I've seen the most. I like things that are based on Alice or have the Alice, like I mentioned, Once Upon a Time and The Matrix. I mean, there's so many things that have reference to Alice. The Tom Petty music video. What was that? Was it Last Dance with Mary Jane? One of them. One of his music videos has like the Alice. And then Pink, one of hers. I think it's because her song was on the soundtrack to the live action. Now, the live action Johnny Depp, I don't dislike it. I like it just fine. I just don't have the nostalgia. I've only seen number 1 and number 2 like once each, which is a crime. So I thought about rewatching that since we're doing all the Alice stuff for the month. But yeah, that's been my experiences with all that. So how did I get to that? What question was that? Oh, it was number 8. That's funny. So, I didn't do that on purpose. No, that was number 8. I skipped though. So the question I was talking about was, would you want to find your way out of Wonderland? And I went on a big old tangent there. Sorry. So now you know how my brain works. You can clearly see why I would like Wonderland so much. Number 7 was, who would be your best friend in Wonderland? So I was thinking the Cheshire Cat would be my best friend, but you could swap these answers, because I have White Rabbit and I have Cheshire Cat, and you could swap them if you wanted to. But I was thinking best friend. I like his whole like perception versus reality. So I already talked about like which way do you go? Will you go that way? Well, and I love cats. So that's so I made this cat look like the Cheshire Cat a little bit, like the colors. Even though it's probably Dinah, because she had Dinah in like the real world. So yeah, I love cats, so that had to be part of the answer. He just appears like magically. I love that. I like that he's pink and purple in the Disney version. I don't know. There's just some kind of like mystery with the Cheshire Cat that I like. So 8 was, do you prefer, so I didn't realize that was actually a question. No wonder everybody's been talking about it. Oh, God. Multitasking is a myth. You can actually color and scroll your phone and watch these videos all at the same time and expect to do it well. Your brain switches really rapidly back and forth between the task. Anyway, which do you prefer, animated or live action? So I kind of answered that one already. Well, cool. So we can move on to number 9, which is, if you could continue to return to Wonderland in reality whenever you wanted, which is what I said that I would want, would you continue to visit Wonderland? And so I think that my answer to that would be yes. Yeah, because I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun things going on in Wonderland, right? Number 10 is, what is your favorite treat or snack to have with tea or coffee? So I love tea and I love coffee. In fact, when I've been pausing this video to like cut talking to my husband or my son, or there's like an interruption, which hasn't been too many times. I think I've done it twice. I've been drinking my coffee, which is here in this snowflake mug. So I love tea. My favorite thing to have with tea are like at these afternoon teas is like a scone, like a really well made scone. And I love both savory and sweet flavors. But it's hard to get it right. The texture and the flavor. But scones, coffee, I love any kind of sweet with coffee, really. I love having dessert with coffee. Any kind of dessert, really. Cakes, pies. And you know that whole sugar rush and at the end of a meal when you're having dessert is going to kind of make you tired. So what better way to like combat that than with some caffeine, coffee. Now tea, I'll do both caffeine and caffeine free. It just depends on the tea and what time of day, that sort of thing. But the other thing that I like with tea and coffee are like shortbread cookies. Really any type of cookies, but the shortbread ones in particular. Girl Scouts used to have this cookie that was like a shortbread that also had cranberries, and one of them that was just plain. That one's really good. What do you call that one? The trefoil. Trefoil is really good with tea and coffee. And then I think they had one that had like chocolate on the back of it or something. Yeah, so cookies are like a dry cookie. Those are things I like to have with tea. Now, when we go to these afternoon teas, we usually get like a 3-tier or 2-tier spread. And maybe I'll show some pictures of ones that we've gone to lately. So there's usually the scone. There's usually some like little sandwiches or pinwheels. Like finger foods, basically. So the chicken salad, cucumber, dill, your cucumber cream cheese. There's usually some macarons. There's usually some type of like cake, little cake, petite four, or something like that. But yeah, I love all that stuff. All right, and then the last question is, if you could, would you want to grow and shrink whenever you wanted? Yeah, I would love that, especially since like I don't like flying and I don't like heights. I feel like if you were super, super tall, you wouldn't need to. I could scale over cities and states and bodies of water because I'd be so tall I wouldn't have to worry about it. No, I think it'd be a lot of fun to do that, change your size. That would be cool. So that's it for the questions. I hope that you all have enjoyed this video and my participation in it and got something different out of it. And seriously, if you have not checked out the other videos yet, please do. There's really good answers for these, and I love hearing everyone talk about their relationship with Alice in Wonderland and the nostalgia that they have and the different things that they've brought up. If you want to participate, I would say go for it. I mean, most of the way these tag videos work is it's an open, you can tag people for sure, but like it's usually open tag. Community is pretty open and welcoming and happy to have you. Someone had mentioned, I think it was Jamie, in finding joy in color, about in the animated Alice, the little creature in the woods, Tulgey Woods, that is a dog, but it's like a broom cleaning, like it's actually clearing the path, and then it makes her sad because she's losing her way because she can't find it now. But like how that would be an awesome thing to have in real life. And then also having like a vacuum cleaning creature or something like that too. I thought that was so funny. Like, that's true. Like, that would be wonderful if something like that existed. I do like those creatures. That whole, and like the pencil with the glasses, like all those funky creatures. They are so funky. I love them. And I think at the end of the day, that is why I'm so drawn to this whole world. It's just the creativity, the imagination, what would this look like, you know, to this child. I haven't mentioned the Queen of Hearts and that whole thing, but that is wonderful too. All of the different segments. The Walrus and the Carpenter, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the Caterpillar, the Dodo Bird. Like, oh, you know what? I did this really fun thing one time with some friends and my daughter, and we dressed up for it, and it was an interactive thing, and I forget the name of the company that does it. It was found, I feel like we found out about it on Facebook. And it was like, you did this interactive event where you walked around with your phone, and it was interactive, like stuff would come up on your phone. It was Alice in Wonderland theme, but they've done other stuff too. And you'd have to figure it out, like it's a puzzle, it's a game, and there's teams, and you can sign up, and you go from place to place, like, and you get different clues, and you're just trying to find your way till the end to figure out, like, I don't know if it was like Who Kidnapped Alice or something like that. There was like a story behind it. And like the teams, you'd get points based on how quickly you finished it. That was really cool. I know I'm not doing a great job of explaining, but if that makes any sense to you, like, it's like you had this app and you would get, you know, hints, and it was interactive with your phone. Like, you had to use the camera and GPS, like the way they set this up, and like you'd run into the different characters, and all the teams that were participating were like dressing up. And I can't remember if we were all doing the same thing in the same order, if it was like a different order. I guess it would make sense if we were all doing it in a different order. But it's been a few years since we did this thing, but that was a lot of fun. The Alice in Wonderland tea that we did was a lot of fun too, I feel like. So anyway, I'm gonna stop for now. I've made a lot of good progress here on the shading with the greens. I don't know how much more shading I'm gonna be doing. I won't do everything, but I am gonna go over some of the stuff with highlight, like a white highlight. So bye, see you soon. Thanks for joining.